The only loophole, like if the cops do show up, is we just have to say this is a church function. It's true. They're like, so if they show up, they'll be like, is this a comedy show? I'll be like, hell no, we're here. This is my church. And this is just an anti-abortion rally. That's all this is. Fill in the we got the tiki torches. I mean, put the pieces together. Obviously, this is a pro-life thing. What is that behind me? Of course, that's never happened before. I've been doing comedy for 14 years. I've never had fireworks go off behind me. This is the closest I'll ever feel like Ric Flair making a WrestleMania.
I got to give credit to my friend Mike. He runs an Instagram account called Two Guys, One Thumb. They rate brunches back in Cleveland. And he taught me an Instagram marketing tool is give a follow, get a follow. So typically if you follow somebody, they're gonna follow you back. And the whole idea is at this point, we just need to grow our fan base and get views. So I start doing that, which leads us to following this local UFC fighter. She actually DM'd or direct messaged our account, and it was even kind of weirder because it was a voice message. So I opened it up and I listened to it, and I can kind of hear her talking about like her diet and like what she's supposed to be eating at the time. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, I don't think you meant to send us that, or did you? And she responded, she's like, no, I didn't mean to send you that, but I love what you guys are doing. These shows look like they're so much fun. I would love to collaborate with you guys. And that causes us to leave the backyard.
We get this opportunity to basically co-produce a show with her, where she wants us to basically assemble all of our best comedians, bring a stage, bring the PA, bring the mic, and let's put on a show. You know, it was chaotic, it was stressful, and it was scary, man. Like, we didn't know what we were walking into. We didn't know how many 100, 150, 200 people. We didn't know who was gonna be there and how this thing was gonna go. In our backyard, we had a system. We knew what we had to do. We knew, how many people we could fill. We knew the process. We knew the timing of things, right? This was like totally, Brave New World type stuff. But we just had to go for it and just see what happens.
Chris Meyer, Phil Kunka here from PB Backyard Comedy. We throw comedy shows in our backyard. I know it's very complicated.
Everything happened so fast. I felt like we set up and Chris and I were standing on stage introducing the comedians like that.
They put together this amazing show. They had a stage, it blew my mind how cool the show was. It was a backdrop with Mission Bay.
The world we live in now, about to do a speakeasy comedy show at the beach.
We had all these like tiki torches set up and like fire pits, and it looked amazing, but we still had the speaker, like is it a karaoke mic? I think we had like a karaoke little boom box.
We're learning a lot. That we should spend more money on sound, maybe less money on fire.
It was like 200 people, and it made me feel like it was like a real comedian again.
It was pretty cool, man. It's a little weird though, being a straight white dude with a microphone and tiki torches near me. I don't feel like this is the right time for this.
The laughs were amazing. Everybody wanted comedy. You could tell this was 6 months into it or 5 months into it, and everybody was just like, I gotta have comedy. And the show was absolutely amazing.
That's when I got like the feeling of stand-up before the pandemic, like the really big laughs, the energy.
And all the great stuff that happens with an outdoor show happens. Like, there's fireworks going off in the background, and Zoltan's looking back going like, what the hell?
Zoltan's doing comedy, and fireworks are going on.
We got kayakers going by, cars are driving by and honking, but people are loving it and they're happy and they're enjoying it. And I remember looking at Phil, because we're kind of standing in the back, and we're like, dude, like like we made it, like this happened, like we wrapped up this show and this was something special. And if you look at images from that night, like, it's a pretty amazing thing that took place given the context of the times, right? It's COVID, it's quarantine, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty in the air, and yet we were able to put this event together where everyone felt safe and everyone's laughing. and there's not a lot of stuff to laugh at that time. So it was just a very special night altogether.
You know, I was standing there, and I'll never forget, it was Josh Nelson next to me, and again, we had kind of reached out to him as a mentor and gotten to know him a little better at that point. And we're standing there, and his arms are crossed, my arms are crossed, and we're watching the show, and he looks at me and he's like, you know, you guys can do this. Like, this is crazy. Like, you guys can do this. And he's like, we can do this. And that was a really cool moment, because in my mind, this was a comedian in San Diego who helped me kind of get my feet under me. And I looked up to him, and he was looking at us saying, like, we should do this together.
Chris and Phil worked so hard on that show, and they did an amazing job. And I looked at them and I was like, hey guys, you guys killed it on this. I think we should do this and make it something bigger. And I didn't really know what I had in my mind, and they didn't. I don't think they knew either. And we just kind of were like, we put our heads together and we're like, all right, how are we gonna do this? And then we came up with the whole idea of shows in the park.
I would say in general, Chris and I have always like talked about PB Backyard Comedy as like, you can't have things happen if you don't think big.
It quickly expanded outside of their backyard. I think I only did the show in the backyard once before we had to move it to the park, because, you know, they didn't have a yard big enough in the city for 115 people.
This feels very weird. This feels like I'm doing a show for spirits. I just see candles. I hear laughter, but I don't see any faces. This sounds like a nightmare that I've had once.
The thing with PB Backyard Comedy that's different from every other comedy club or any other comedy thing that's going on is because they give you an experience.
It was just like a full moon, and you could see the city, and everything was just amazing. And then it was like in this area, like it was arena set up, and the lights and the stage, and it was basically just, it was like kind of magical.
Man, this is like so romantic. What the fuck?
They put nice little tea lights in the grass. It looked so romantic. I thought I was gonna get proposed to. It was lovely.
Like, I don't know, I can't, it's a feeling that I can't explain. Like, it's really a feeling that I can't explain. To go and be in front, like, be at a park with 220 people.
I love it. Did people always hang out at the park like this? I don't think so, right? This has brought parks back. Like, somewhere there's just like a park ranger so happy right now. They're like, I knew the parks would come back around.
They got construction lights, they had a stage, they got new speakers, they like invested into the show, and they had to carry their stage from where they parked their cars down the street, and they marched it up and then down into this hill behind this tree over here. And I was looking at it and I was just thinking, like, this is a lot of work. Like, it's now settling in, like, we're outside, there's no like amenities, there's like a bathroom way over there. You have to buy battery powered everything. Like, you can't just use standard equipment, you can't just borrow equipment. So I was just kind of like, my reaction right now is just like speechless.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Good to see everyone.
Yeah!
This idea of doing outdoor shows, it was a new concept. Like, now it feels regular to all of us, but it was, we were all kind of just getting used to it, and we were realizing that there's fun aspects of it. And you couple that with a growing audience and the fact that we have access because of Josh to some bigger names, like, it was just it was the right place at the right time, and it was the perfect mash of people, because boy, we just started having these shows and they were just so freaking fun.
So we've gone from our backyard to outdoors, PB's backyard, Crown Point, beaches, parks, and then people are saying to us, hey, I think you guys could do a show in my backyard or my rooftop. And we just start kind of doing guerrilla comedy anywhere and everywhere we can. We're putting on shows.
I do want to say the first show that we did, or the second show with Jeff, we did learn from our mistake. I think we had one speaker, and so we had people yelling out like, "We can't hear you."
You can't hear me? Oh, that's what's happening? How do we turn this up? I guess I speak lightly, Josh. I thought I just hit a queer subject, and everyone was like, I don't appreciate this bit. And everyone's like, no, we just can't hear you volume-wise. Let's turn it up, dude. Let's get shut down. Let's do this.
So as all of this is happening, you know, our shows are growing, we're getting bigger names. We've also got a pandemic going on and we're quarantining. So we have to get smarter and we have to be safer. We want to make sure people that are coming to our shows are, you know, wearing masks. We start implementing temperature checks. We work with PB Yogs, another local business here in San Diego, and he starts kind of coaching us on ways that we can be a little safer. And we start making the shows so that we want our audience to feel like they can come enjoy themselves, but safely.
And we start kind of thinking through, like, again, hindsight's 20/20, right? Like, we're all learning together, like, what's the proper protocol, what's not the proper protocol. If you remember, in, you know, August, September, there's a lot of, like, conflicting information that's going out there.
People like all the arguments, nobody listens to each other. That's what it is. The mask thing is such a great example of nobody listens. Like, I think you should wear a mask, but I will admit that some of the communication has been inconsistent at times. It keeps changing. It's hard to stay up. Hey, everybody wear a mask. Just kidding. We don't have enough masks. We are out of masks. We are so low on masks, we need you to make masks. What? I'm in charge of manufacturing now? That's on my job? Okay, you need to wear a mask unless you're 6 feet apart. Actually, 12 feet apart. If you're 6 feet apart, you don't need to wear a mask. Actually, you need to wear a mask no matter what, unless you're working out. Actually, wear a mask when you're working out. Working out is the most important thing that you can do. Also, the gyms are closed. Okay.
We're on a high and we're doing these shows, and you know, it's like, we're going here, we're going there, we're getting this comedian. It's all just, it's flowing, right? But the whole time, Phil and I are both kind of waiting for this inevitability that is, you know, the man is going to drop the hammer on us. Like, the cops are going to show up and we are going to face fines or something. Like, it just, there had been enough curiosity from the county, you know, emailing us one-off emails about, like, what's going on, what is this? You guys do realize that, you know, the public health officer has instructed that, you know, it's best to not do these kinds of things.
No live entertainment is allowed in California, but here's the issue. In Pacific Beach, they do movie night. I've been to them, they're amazing. But they have 200-300 people there. And I asked the lady, how come this is allowed? And she said, well, because they have a movie screen. I said, so if I'm doing comedy and I'm behind a screen, it's okay? She says, yes. And that's where the rules just, they don't make any sense.
Depending on the art form and depending on the group, we feel that everyone's being treated differently. There's not a lot of equality here.
The fact that an outdoor comedy show with a bunch of people staring in the same direction watching someone tell jokes is not okay, but in the same park, a bunch of people doing yoga together next to each other is okay. That seems strange to me.
Tonight, at least 2 comedy clubs in San Diego are now closed, leaving owners and employees frustrated. Management at the Comedy Store in La Jolla tells News 8 police came through last night and shut down their business just as it was about to begin an outdoor show.
We had to shut down. We had to go home.
Mike Vinn is the assistant manager of the Comedy Store in La Jolla. He says last night, as customers were about to arrive, police came and told them they had to close. He says officers would only tell staff this.
Live entertainment. They said that you can't have live entertainment, so you have to shut down.
Which is confusing, he says, since the club has been operating outdoors since early July with no problems. According to the state's website, the guidance for reopening restaurants, quote, is not intended for concert, performance, or entertainment venues. Restaurants, bars, and wineries must discontinue this type of entertainment until these types of activities are allowed to resume modified or full operation.
They're not paying attention to what people are doing to be safe. That's the worst part of it. They're not paying attention. They're just blanket closing things and lumping everything together. We can't just go broke. You know, we have to be able to work.
With this, every show that Chris and I do, right before the show, Chris and I looked at each other and were like, all right, Tonight's the night. We're just waiting for the cops to show up.
So Josh tells us that he can get Trevor Wallace. And Trevor Wallace has 1.6 million followers. He is a fan favorite of the demographics of the type of people we normally get at our show. And I remember, I'll never forget the day, we're sitting in the living room and we make the post. Trevor Wallace is coming to town, you know, DM us for details. Within maybe 2 or 3 hours, we had 200 tickets that were sold for this show. And I was like, there's gonna be many hundreds of people at the beach. And this is going to be the night.
Well, guys, this looks exactly like what you think it is. So whatever you're thinking in your heads right now, you're right. And this is the show. It is wrapped up. We will make it right to all of you. Obviously, we didn't plan on this, but yeah, we are being told to leave right now and vacate the premises.